Good day everyone. Today we are going to discuss about the inverse trigonometric function and evaluating inverse trigonometric function. But first, we are going to discuss about inverse trigonometric function. I am Jasmael Ginton and I am with
Princess Ava Estala.
Hey Ava. Have you ever wondered why inverse trigonometric functions are so important in solving problems?
Yeah, they help us find angles when we already know the sine, cosine, or tangent values. It's like more working backward to get the missing piece of triangle.
Exactly. So let's say we have a right triangle and we know the opposite side and the hypotenuse. How do we find the angle?
That's where inverse sine or arc sine comes in. If we set up the equation using SOHCAHTOA, we can take the inverse sine of the ratio to get the angle.
Right. But there's something tricky about inverse functions. Remember how a function must pass the horizontal line test to have an inverse.
Oh yeah, the sine function isn't one-to-one over all real numbers, so we have to restrict its domain from negative pi over positive 2 to positive pi over positive 2 to make inverse sine a function.
Same goes for inverse cosine and inverse tangent. Inverse cosine is defined on 0 to pi, and while inverse tangent is on negative pi over 2 and positive pi over 2.
I get that. That way, we ensure that for every output of the inverse function, there is only one valid input.
Exactly. And did you know that inverse trigonometric functions don't work like reciprocals?
Oh yeah, people sometimes confuse inverse sine x with 1 over sine x, but they're totally different. The first one is arcsine, while the second one is cosecant.
Good catch. Now let's try one. What's the inverse cosine of negative 1 over 2?
That means we're looking for an angle where cosine theta is equal to negative 1 over 2 and the valid range of inverse cosine is 0 and pi. That must be 2 pi over 3.
Nice. Now, what about the inverse tangent of root 3?
We need an angle where tan theta is equal to root 3. The only common angle where sine over cosine gives root 3 is pi over 3.
Exactly. So inverse trigonometric functions help us find missing angles, but we have to respect the restricted domains and remember they're not reciprocals.
Got it. And if things get too tricky, we can always use a calculator.
Just make sure it's in radian mode before hitting the inverse function buttons.
Note, this makes trigonometry way clear now. And now let us proceed to the next topic, which is evaluating inverse trigonometric functions. Hey, let's talk about evaluating inverse sine function today.
Sure. So what exactly does it mean to evaluate an inverse sine function?
Good question. The inverse sine function, written as a sine inverse x or arcsine x, find the angle whose sine is x. For example, we have an arcsine 1 over 2. We're looking for an angle whose sine value is 1 over 2.
Oh, I see. So basically, we are reversing the sine function to find the angle. Let's take an example. What is arcsine of 1/2?
Well, we need to find an angle theta such as that sine theta is equal to 1 over 2 from the unit circle. We know that sine pi over 6 is equal to 1 over 2 and sine pi over 6 is equal to 1 over 2. But which one should we choose?
That's a good point. The range of the inverse sine function is negative pi over 2 to positive pi over 2, meaning it only considers angles from quadrant 1 and quadrant 4.
Exactly, since pi over 6 or 30 degrees is within this range, the correct answer is arc sine 1 over 2 is equal to pi over 6.
Got it. What if we have arc sine root 3 over 2?
Great question. We need to find theta where sine theta is equal to root 3 over 2 from the unit circle. Sine pi over 3 is equal to root 3 over 2 and sine 2 pi over 3 is equal to root 3 over 2. But again, we need an angle in the range is negative pi over 2 and positive pi over 2.
Right. Since pi over 3 or 60 degrees is in quadrant 1, the correct answer is arc sine root 3 over 2 equals pi over 3.
Got it. Now let's try a negative value. What is arc sine? Arc sine negative 1 over 2.
Okay, we need to find theta such as sine theta equals negative 1 half. From the unit circle, sine negative pi over 6 equals negative 1 half and sine 7 pi over 6 equals negative 1 half.
But 7 pi over 6 is in quadrant 3, which is outside the allowed range, so we must use negative pi over 6.
That makes sense. So arc sine negative 1 half equals negative pi over 6.
Perfect. What about arc sine and negative root 2 over 2?
We need to find theta where sine theta equals negative root 2 over 2. From the unit circle, sine negative pi over 4 equals negative root 2 over 2 and sine pi over 4 equals negative root 2 over 2.
Again, 5 pi over 4 is outside the valid range, so the correct answer is arc sine negative root 2 over 2 is equal to negative pi over 4.
This is really interesting. So, for any positive sine value, we pick the angle from quadrant 1. For a negative sine value, we pick the angle from quadrant 4 but express it as a negative angle.
Exactly. And now you can always check your answer using a calculator. If you enter arc sine 1 over 2 in a degree mode, you will get that 30 degrees which matches pi over 6.
That's really helpful. I think I understand how to evaluate inverse sine functions now.
Awesome! Want to try a few more examples?
Sure, let's do arc sine negative 1.
1. We need an angle where sine theta is equal to negative 1 that happens at negative pi over 2.
So arc sine negative 1 is equal to negative pi over 2. I see the pattern now.
Exactly. And for arc sine positive 1, it will be positive pi over 2 because sine positive pi over positive 2 is equal to 1.
This is really making sense now. Thanks for explaining.
No problem. Let's keep practicing to master this topic.
And that wraps up our discussion today. And I hope you learned something new.
Bye. Thank you guys.